All right guys, Chad and I are going to do something a little bit different here. We're going to continue on with our gun bully segment. We got our Mossberg 500, our Remington 870. What we're going to do is we're going to do something that's kind of typical for the swamps of Louisiana, Chad. Many of us living down here in Louisiana either have done this or we've heard of one of our friends who have been in a pirogue, a boat, or something like that going out to a duck blind, and either their shotgun has fallen into the water, or many of these guys down here will actually use these things as boat paddles. Well, while we don't recommend any of that, it happens. And Chad, we've got some good old Louisiana mud right here, and we're gonna see if these things can actually fire with some mud down in the muzzle.
Yeah, sometimes they just don't realize they might have that mud in there, that obstruction. So we're gonna try it as evenly as possible, take this mud, put it in each gun, in increments, make it a little larger each time, see how much they can take before they finally can't fire anymore.
It happens, so we're gonna make it happen.
Come on, Cole.
So you had one job.
Cole jumped right in there to procure our sample of Louisiana mud.
I think he's having a little too much fun with that.
That'd be perfect. That'd be even. They both have to weigh the same, too.
What we were going to do is strap each one of these shotguns down separately and ratchet them to this table so that they could not move. Then we were going to tie a string to the trigger and be a safe distance away, pull the trigger after we had applied mud to the muzzle. The rounds that we were going to fire were going to be Winchester heavy target loads. The mud, Louisiana's finest. And Cole, he was getting a little prophetic here.
I'm guessing this is going to be our last gun bully segment with these two guys.
First up was the Remington. Cole ratcheted this thing into place. This gun was not going anywhere when it was going to be fired.
Keep the other half for the Mossberg.
Now it was time to apply the mud to the muzzle. To keep things equal, we filled up a clay pigeon with mud, took half of it and put inside this Remington, and we were going to keep the other half and put it inside the Mossberg. We wanted to make sure that we were putting equal amounts of mud into each firearm so as not to give an advantage to either one of them. And after spending a week in Vegas for SHOT, we'd come to realize that some people would pay good money for this kind of entertainment.
All right, I think that's probably good.
Now, even though many of the things we do are stupid, we do try to do them safely. We attached a long, lengthy rope around the trigger that we could pull from a safe distance away from each one of these shotguns.
Chad?
Yeah.
One round was going to be enough, so we placed our round into the shotgun, chambered the round, and got ready to fire this thing.
All right.
And of course, the cameras had to be rolling.
All right.
It was go time. Well, like most shotguns, this Remington 870 was not a fan of like mud in the muzzle.
That's all she wrote.
We'll, next up, the Mossberg 500. It was prepped in the identical way that the Remington 870 was prepped. Fire in the hole. Similar but prettier results.
A little bit worse. A lot more camera friendly. A mushroom made of flour.
All right guys, well, we proved something pretty quick and pretty fast. Don't use your Mossberg 500 or your Remington 870 as a paddle, or if you drop it in your boat or in the swamp or something like that as you're going duck hunting to your blind, maybe inspect the barrel pretty close. Neither one of these guns held up at all. Cole, come in a little close right here. Let me show you. You can see about how far the mud probably came in, about 2 inches into the barrel right there. So that's not a whole lot of mud. I could see that the momentum of a shotgun falling into the mud out of a boat would get at least 2 inches of mud into the muzzle. So as you can see, neither one of them fared very well. The Remington blew out the top. Maybe it's a little bit different steel. You can actually look at the steel. Look at these two next to each other and you can see the gauge of the steel. The Remington actually is a little bit thicker gauge steel than the Mossberg. You can pretty much see it with the eye right there. So maybe that's why it didn't feather at the end, make a flower like the Mossberg did. But yeah, Chad, neither one of these fared very well.
No, this is actually in 2 pieces now. It was detached from the lower tube, so I think that one actually stayed attached.
Yeah, it did.
Where it's connected at right here on the end of the barrel. This one's actually an easy fix, I guess. You just pop the new barrel on.
Well, sadly enough, I can say this. I'm a little disappointed that these didn't do a little better, which you suspected this. I mean, that's why we kind of waited a little bit in our segment before we did this. But I'm disappointed that we didn't get to do more with the Mossberg. We actually may get another Mossberg 500 and run it through some more gun bullies. This Remington, maybe we got a lemon. This thing has been horrible. It's had trouble cycling rounds. It's rusted over. Look at the finish of these two things. Lay this thing flat, Chad. Look at the finish of these two. These two guys have had the exact same thing done to them. Exact same thing. And the Remington looks absolutely horrible. And they've been left outside. They've been left in the rain. Whenever we carry them out here, they get thrown in the back of a pickup truck. The Remington cannot handle anything. The finish is just awful, where the Mossberg has handled it just fine. So the Remington would not have lasted much longer, I can assure you of that. This Mossberg, on the other hand, it has done everything we asked it to do. So I'm kind of inclined to maybe get another one of these. And again, maybe we got a lemon Remington. I know this, since they've changed address, that they're not quite making the quality of guns that they used to. Many of us have Remington 870s we grew up with that are still firing, that would do everything that you asked it to do. This one has not. However, this Mossberg, again, I'm a little disappointed. I would have liked to have seen this one go through a little bit more to see how much it held up. Both guns, Chad, they have a history of being good guns, but unfortunately, we're at the end of this gun bully segment.
Yeah, that's it for these.
As always, don't try this at home. We are not role models.
That's all she wrote.